Alright, so The Bad Batch Season 3 just premiered this Thursday with 3 episodes, and it was enjoyable, to say the least. So let us get right into it. The first episode, titled Confined, follows Omega, the youngest of the clones, or should I say the most unique of the clones in Clone Force 99. So she's in this scientific facility that is heavily guarded, and while she's free to roam about the facility, she herself is still ultimately a prisoner because she has her duties, her routines. She has the same room that she sleeps in, same waking time every day, the same procedures she has to do to collect blood samples. We get some interesting glimpse as to the samples they are collecting, because they are collecting blood samples of clones, which will be covered in a later episode. But after that, she began to break that routine and began questioning some things. She develops a certain attachment with one of the test subjects in the facility, which is this wild hound. These are wild animals who are probably one of the fiercest things and are supposed to be bred to be weapons, I suppose. And she frees it at the end of the episode, even though it's slated for euthanasia, much to the disappointment of Dr. Hemlock. She also tries to loop in her former teammate, Crosshair, into her plans of escape, which is not much of a plan in the first place, and even though Crosshair is this guy who is one of the least liked members of Clone Force 99 because he openly defies his team leader, she is still willing to help him escape even though he makes it abundantly clear that he would leave her alone if he gets the opportunity to escape. She still doesn't give up on them, and I think that's one thing to like about Omega as a character. And moving on to the second episode, we follow Hunter and Wrecker as they track down Omega, trying to gather intel for her possible whereabouts. At the start of the episode, we are introduced to a unique crime syndicate family which are full of Devaronians. It looks interesting, I may look into it more in the future. But for the rest of the episodes, we are introduced to the darker side of Imperial science. All the failed super weapons in the abandoned facilities that they had to use orbital bombardment to try to destroy it. Live vines and krakens. I wonder what other things the Empire has that we haven't seen. The expanded universe also has some stories which explore things like zombie stormtroopers and stuff like that. So perhaps we may be able to see more of this in the future episodes. Who knows? But apart from that, I guess one of the more important aspects of this episode is the exploration of the clones. Much of them were trained to be soldiers in Kamino, but in the end they are just lapdogs for the Empire after the Republic transitioned into this era, where there's no longer any wars to be fought, or they are just assigned to these menial jobs or to be test subjects for the Empire, and there is no way to live for them. And in the third episode, we move back to Omega in the facility again, finally winging her escape with Crosshair, just when Emperor Palpatine visits the facility. Their experiments and Palpatine's Project Necromancer is further elaborated on, so we finally learn what's the main purpose of all these tests that are going about. He's trying to clone Force sensitives. And at the end of the episode, we learn that Omega has a high M count. That could only mean that she is Force sensitive and she will catch the ire of not just Dr. Hemlock and perhaps Palpatine himself. If the Empire had access to an army of Force sensitives, it's really gonna be bad time for the galaxy. Definitely for sure, this is one of the things that will be explored upon down the road, down the season, where the Clone Force would try their best to destroy this, wherever this project is. The stakes are high here because the Emperor himself is involved. Overall, I enjoyed these 3 episodes, seeing things from not just the perspective of the Jedi that we often see, but exploring more of like things from the perspective of the clones. They are all bred to fight for the Republic, but once it transitioned to the Empire, their whole purpose was gone, and they are nothing more than resources which the Empire uses to expand their tyranny ever further. What do you think of the latest episodes? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Cheers!